Hi everyone, so today we're going to continue with our review of inequalities. So again, chapter 5, today specifically is going to be on graphing inequalities, and then page 24 is the page it's on for me. Okay, so let's start with some examples. Okay, so let's say for our first example that x is greater than or equal to 0. So if I draw my number line, and let's just do -1, 0, 1. We're going to keep this simple. So since it can be equal to, we're going to put a closed circle above the 0. And then it says, oh my goodness, I read this wrong. X is less than or equal to 0. Okay, so since x is less than or equal to 0, it's going to be a closed circle, and then we're going to go this direction. So we will go away from the positive. We will get more negative. Okay, next one. X is greater than or equal to -3. So I'm going to draw my number line. Let's go -4, -3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. So since it can be equal to, we're going to put a closed circle. And then since it's greater than, it's going to go to the right. It's going to get larger. And we put an arrow at the end to show that it continues that direction infinitely. Okay, let's do another one. -1 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 4. So what this says here is x is greater than or equal to -1, and x is less than 4. Scale our graph. So let's start first by drawing our circles. So it can be equal to -1, so we'll put a closed circle on -1. It cannot be equal to 4, so we'll put an open circle on 4. And then since x needs to be less than 4, that goes this direction, and x is greater than -1, we draw a line in between them. Okay. So now let's do one more. You're probably really not going to see one like this, but just so you kind of know what it looks like. So let's say I have -3 is greater than x, and then x is also greater than 1, greater than or equal to. So it says x is less than -3, so it's going to be kind of over here, or and x is greater, probably or, it can't really be both. X is greater than or equal to 1, so that would be this direction. So let's draw our number line. And again, you're probably really not going to see any like this. Potentially for like maybe an x squared type of problem, or an absolute value, but you won't really see that this year. So we'll go -4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's start with this first one. So x is less than -3. So we put an open circle and a line going this way. X is greater than or equal to 1. So we put a closed circle here because it can be equal to 1. And then since it's greater than, we will go that way. Okay, so let's now work through some word problems just so when you read these, you kind of know what they are talking about. And for these, we will write the inequality and we'll graph it. So first one, misvote, drinks 2 or more coffees each day. Okay, so let's start with X. We'll say X is coffee's drink. So I drank 2 or more. So that means X is going to be greater than. It's for sure going to be greater than 2. And since it says 2 or more, that means that I can drink 2 coffees in a day. Or sometimes I have more. So that means that I can also be equal to. So now let's graph this. And since this is a real world problem, one thing that you would want to think about, depending on how the question's worded, is what kind of answers make sense in terms of the problem. So even though my inequality says X is greater than 2, so X can equal anything, I obviously am probably not going to drink 10 coffees in a day. Realistically, I probably drink somewhere between 2 and 4. But I'm not going to drink 10. That's unrealistic. So even though it says it can be greater, anything greater than 2, you want to look at your context and the problem, because there are some answers that might not fully make sense. So close circle, and then a line going this way. In the same sense, let's say that I drank 2 or less coffees each day. Even though it doesn't say anything in here about parameters, if it's 2 or less, I can't really drink negative coffees. That's not really a thing. And so it would probably be in between 0, but there's no parameters given. So it would still just be X is less than or equal to 2. But that would be something to think about when you see word problems. Okay, next one. Let's just do one more of these so you're not taking notes all day. The temperature, or let's say the high temperature, was 10. Let's do 105. The low was 89 this summer. And we're asked to write this as an inequality. So let's do X to start. X is going to represent temperature. So the low was 89, so X was always greater than, at least greater than 89. And since it sounds like it hit 89, X could have also at times been equal to 89. And then it said the high temp was 105. So X was then always less than or equal to 105. So X was between 89 and 105, but it could be both 89 and 105 at times. So now let's graph this. And we'll go 80. Let's do 90, 100, 110. And we'll just kind of approximately put these. So since it can be 89, let's put a closed circle above where 89 would probably be. And it can be 105, so we'll do the same thing here. And then since X was between them at all times, or them as well, we'll draw a line connecting them.